Hello, everyone. Welcome to your Accelerate webinar. Today's topic, we are really going to be digging into recruiting. As you know, we've got a phenomenal recruiting special this month. So there's never been a better time for us to just kind of roll up our sleeves and learn absolutely everything we possibly can about the topic of recruiting. So before we jump into things, I do want to make sure that you guys have with you your Accelerate worksheet that I posted to the Facebook group. So I thought it would be great for you to have this in front of you today while you're either listening to this webinar or participating live so that you can kind of work on it today while we're going along. So one of the things I'll be asking you are, what are some of the key takeaways from this lesson? So you can take notes on this worksheet, or you can take notes on a separate sheet of paper. I know a lot of you are working from, you've got one notebook where you're keeping all of your Accelerate notes. So I think that that's wonderful. But just take some of the key takeaways and you're going to plug those into this worksheet. And then we're going to be setting some recruiting goals also. And then I'm going to be having you, after the webinar today, write out your party introduction and also your party why story. So you'll learn more about those during the webinar. And I noticed I have a little typo here where it says write out your party introduction. One of the things I said in that sentence is I said, introduce yourself, share why you've joined, and then follow it with later. I share with you why I stay. It should be later. I'll share with you why I stay. So sorry about that. And then this page is really going to help you, because this page is where, while you're listening to the training today, I want you to jot down some of the things that you're going to continue doing as it relates to recruiting, you know, at your parties. So you're going to be getting some affirmation of, okay, I'm doing this right. I need to keep doing this. So those are the things you're going to jot down in the continue section. And then the things that you learn where you're like, never thought of doing that before. Yeah, and you want to start doing those, you're going to put those in the start section. Then obviously the things that you hear me say where you're like, oh, okay, I probably shouldn't be doing that, you're going to put those in the stop section. So, and then this worksheet is going to be due in a couple of weeks. It's going to be due on Sunday the 18th. And so, as you know, Mark is going to do a post to the Facebook group, and you guys will just take a picture of your worksheet and put it in the comments below. Now, as far as taking the picture, you can lay the two sheets side by side, okay, and take one picture of the two sheets and then go ahead and post those. And also, please do Mark and I a favor. Make sure that when you post your homework, if your Facebook profile name is different than your consultant ID name, make sure that you type your consultant ID name in the comments with your picture, because that really helps Mark to know who it belongs to, okay? So those are some tidbits for today. So let's go ahead and jump in. So last month is when we really focused in on bookings. And this month, of course, our focus is going to be on recruiting. And some of the things that you're going to learn today is how your mindset affects recruiting, the perspective that where people are perceiving you. We're going to talk about setting some recruiting goals and what those can mean for your business growth, and actually how the recruiting goals are really going to affect how you're promoting leaders within your organization. And then we're going to talk about how to do follow-up and how to set the sponsoring conversation appointment. And then, of course, you're going to get your homework assignment, which I've basically already kind of given you. So again, pull out that Accelerate notebook and start taking as many notes as you possibly can. So this is, of course, being recorded, and it's going to be posted to the announcement unit later this afternoon after it processes. So it'll be there for you to refer back to if you want to listen to it again. And I know sometimes people like to listen to things a couple of different times. So let's talk about some questions that you can ask yourself as we approach this topic of recruiting. One of the things I want you to ask is, are you getting the results that you want in your 31 business? Okay. Here's another question. Is your personal business right now, is it currently stable? Are you experiencing a decline, or have you been experiencing a decline? Or do you feel like you're in growth mode? And another question is, have you been consistently reaching your business goals? Okay. If your answers to these questions aren't necessarily what you want them to be, I'm going to share a little secret with you. And that secret is one word, and it is REDA. REDA basically is an acronym for recruiting is the answer. It's the answer for pretty much everything in your business. When you've got new team members, it's going to make everything work better in your business. As a matter of fact, new team members are going to be bringing a fresh perspective to your team. New team members are going to inspire other team members. It gives you a new potential of people to work with. And as a matter of fact, you're going to hear me say this over and over again, you guys. You are going to find your future leaders from your new consultants. Okay, some of you are looking for your within your current consultants to find your future leaders, but that's not where you're going to find it. It's going to be coming from these brand new consultants coming onto your team. Now, when you're recruiting also, it's going to be increasing your team volume when those brand new consultants are active. And of course, when your team volume goes higher, your leader pay goes higher. Now, don't forget about the Punta Cana trip, because recruiting is also going to be bringing you trip points. Okay, I could go on and on with a whole exhaustive list of everything, all the reasons why recruiting is where you should be focused, but we're going to move on. Okay, so really, it's the number one way that you are going to go from decline or maintenance mode into growth mode. And recruiting not only can, but it will transform your entire team. Now, you guys already know this. Parties are the very best place to find your new team members. You've already got a captive audience, and they've already got at least some interest in 31. Otherwise, they wouldn't have attended the party, right? So think about that. So it's important that you go to the party with the right mindset. Some people approach their mindset some people approach their party rather with the mindset of, oh gosh, I don't want to come off as pushy. Or, you know what, if they're going to be interested in doing this, they need to let me know. Or maybe you're thinking, you know what, they're not going to be interested in doing this. Or maybe you might think, you know what, I did a party for this group of people 6 months ago, and I offered the business to all of these people before, and they weren't interested then, so they're not going to be interested now. See, when you change the way you think about this, you're going to change the way you act. And how many times have Mark and I been talking about that? All of the thoughts that I mentioned about, I don't want to be pushy, and oh, they're not going to be interested. All of those thoughts are nothing but lies that you're telling yourself. So I want you to stop thinking that way and change your mindset. You have got the power to do it, just like Dorothy with her ruby red slippers. You just need to make the decision and then believe that you're going to adapt a recruiting mindset. After all, people need what you have to offer. And recruiting is offering the incredible 31 business to others so that they can benefit from the business the same way that you have. Did you catch that? So they can benefit the way that you have. Recruiting isn't about you, it's about them. Now, there's an ancient Chinese proverb that says, when someone shares something of value with you and you derive benefit from it, you've got an obligation to share it with others. I absolutely love that proverb, okay? You're deriving benefit from your 31 business, so you've got an obligation to share it with others. So today, I thought it would be helpful for you if I shared with you a little story. Actually, it's not a story, it's reality. It's how I was introduced to the business roughly 31 years ago. Now, you might be thinking there going, oh, Julie, why in the world would you tell us the story? Well, after you hear it, you're going to understand why. And when I'm telling you this story, I want you to think about the fact that at every single party that you do, whether it's an in-person party or it's a virtual party, there is probably a guest in attendance who is just like I was when I attended a party, okay? So here's the story. when I first got started, I was actually very poor. My husband and I, as a matter of fact, were beyond poor. We were we were extremely poor. So here's the thing. We lived in a really cruddy single wide trailer. I was, of course, married to my husband. I had two toddlers, like an infant and a toddler, and we were literally scrimping, living paycheck to paycheck. I was a stay-at-home mom because it was our choice that I stayed home and raised the children. So my husband really was the sole income provider at that time, and my grocery budget for the entire month was $140. So that'll give you an idea of what our monthly income was like. Now, outside of being very poor, I also had an extremely low self-esteem. And I was one of those people where I worried about what other people thought of me. Okay. So here's the thing. I was involved in a Bible study at my church. And a majority of the women in my Bible study were physicians' wives. And then there was Julie. And anyway, so I enjoyed spending time with them. One of them she was having a direct sales party, and she invited all of us to her party. Now, here's the thing I want to tell you about these women is even though I was in Bible study with them and I was with them, a couple of times a week, they literally had no idea how poor I was, and they had no idea what my life was really like. I looked great on the outside. Okay. My husband and I, we looked like we had it all together. We dressed good. We smelled good. Like we were playing the part, right? But the inside was very different. Now, in order to go to this party, I scrimped and saved for a couple of weeks. I saved up $10 so that I could purchase something at the party. So I had to not buy some groceries to be able to get that $10. So I attended the party. I enjoyed the experience. The consultant had a great time. She did a really fun, quick demonstration. And I could really tell that she loved what she was doing. And so while she was doing her presentation, she took a few minutes to share what she loved about the business. And some of the things that she was saying, it really just kind of piqued my curiosity because never in a million years would I've ever pictured myself getting involved in direct sales. Okay. Never in a million years. But how she was talking about it, I was intrigued. I was really curious. And so, we had the party, and then during the checkout, this was an in-person party, of course, 31 years ago, there was no Facebook. During the checkout, I came up to her. It's funny because everybody was kind of standing in line to place their orders, and I was, waiting to come up to her. So I came up to her, and she paid me a compliment. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you were so much fun, and you were outgoing." And she asked me at the time if I'd ever thought about the business. Now, here's the thing that you have to know. Standing all around me, because everybody was kind of waiting in line to place their orders and chit-chatting, were a number, it was all the other guests. Now, remember, I had a really self-esteem, and I didn't want anybody to know how poor I was. And I thought in my mind that you'd have to be pretty poor or desperate to be able to do direct sales. That's what my thinking was. So because I didn't want these people to think that I needed the money or that I needed the business, when the consultant offered the business to me, I want you to know that even though I was intrigued, I was curious, I was actually sitting there thinking, I could probably do this. If I could make an extra $100 per month, then my grocery budget would be $240 instead of $140. I was already thinking, gosh, this could be the thing for me. And she offered me the business. I didn't want people to know that I needed it. So I said to her, I would never do what you're doing. Even though inside I was telling myself, I think I'm going to do this. This would be good for me. I literally told her. It wasn't just, oh, no, I'm not interested. It was I would never do what you're doing. Okay. So the consultant, she was really sweet. She gave me an opportunity brochure. She paid me a compliment again. She encouraged me to read through the brochure and said if I had any questions, she'd be there to help me. So I left the house with the brochure in my hand, and I sat in my car and read the entire thing cover to cover before I even pulled away to drive home. Okay. Now here's the most amazing thing. The next day, that consultant called me. Okay. And, I picked up the phone and I was just like so flattered that she called me. Again, I was low self esteem. Okay. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, she likes me. And she called me and she's just like, hey, I wanted to thank you for attending the party. I wanted to thank you for your order. Your business means a lot to me. And, she said, I just wanted, I know that I offered you the opportunity to consider getting started as a consultant. And I know that you said that you weren't interested, but I haven't been able to stop thinking about you because I really feel that you'd be great at this. And I feel like our company would be great for you. So I just called today because I wanted to ask you again, had you ever thought about doing something like this? And I answered, how do I get started? Okay. So the thing is, that was huge for me that she called me the next day. And the rest is history. And what you guys need to know is within the next year, I was making a six-figure income. Okay. My life was forever changed because that consultant thought more about me than she did about herself. She didn't let the fact that I boldly told her no at the party to prevent her from picking up the phone the next day to offer it to me again. And I will tell you this right now, I am where I am today because of that consultant, and her name was Lynn, and I will never forget her. Okay. So I think that that's a huge thing that you guys need to really, really think about. Now, there's a couple of points that I want to cover with you. Is first of all, at the party, she piqued my curiosity. I was interested, but I didn't let her know I was interested because I was worried about what other people at the party would think about me. Okay. The next thing I want you to remember this is she kept her focus on me and what the business could do for me versus the rejection that I gave her at the party. Okay. And then the third thing is this, she stepped out of her comfort zone and she called me the next day. She didn't have to do that. I mean, I rejected her and she called me the next day because she didn't care what my response was going to be. So I want to ask you this. See, there's a Julie at every single party you do. I can promise you. And my question to you is, are you missing her? Okay, something for you to think about. Now, knowing what I just shared with you, how does this change your perspective on offering the business opportunity? Okay, I got started. She was a great sponsor. I hit the ground running. I promoted to director in my first month in business, and I promoted a director in my first month in business. Okay, and then I just did everything she told me, and I built a very large sales organization. So I went from poor Julie to six-figure Julie because she stepped out of her comfort zone and offered to me. Now, remember, I promise that when you reach out to people a second time or when you reach out to people and follow up, they are going to be flattered that you reached out. You will most likely have made their day. I know that she made mine. And you're going to feel great no matter if that person is interested or not, okay? They are not going to think you're being pushy. So here's the thing. 50% of guests at your parties are actually thinking about doing what you do. When you reach out to them following the party, even if during the party they didn't express any kind of interest, this contact is going to help you touch those people that could fall through the cracks. You've got to realize some people are afraid or even intimidated to tell you that they're interested in the business, especially by posting public comments in a post below your opportunity post, okay? When you reach out to them and follow up, you're actually paying them a compliment, and it makes them feel good and it makes them feel special, and they do not feel like you're being pushy. I always look at it this way. Offering the business opportunity during your parties is your job. But offering it a second time during follow-up is sincere. It means you care about them enough to offer it again. Now, if somebody says no to the opportunity when you follow up, you know what? It could lead to a party now. They could book with you now, or it could lead to a party down the road. And following up with your party guests, it only takes less than 5 minutes to make that contact. And you've got to keep in mind that you planted a beautiful seed. All right, so always remember this: recruiting isn't about you. It's about the opportunity that you have your hands on that you can share with other people. Okay? It's something you can share with other people. And you know what? There is a recruit at every party. Is there a recruiter? Okay. People are waiting for you to share the opportunity with them, whether they know it or not. Okay. And how will you know, or how will they know if you don't share it with them? To recruit at your parties, you have to be willing to do more than just a quick ask. You have to be willing to connect with your party guests. And we're going to talk about how to do that today. Okay. So before we jump into exactly what to do at your parties, let's talk about some recruiting goals. Now, if you say to yourself, oh my gosh, I wish that I had 6 recruits every single month. Well, we all wish that we could win the lottery too, right? You can't wish for recruits. You have to be intentional and focus on offering the business in order to get the recruits. So how many new consultants do you want on your team every single month? How many people are you willing to reach out to? Okay. And are you willing to do the follow-up in order to share the business? So we're going to set some recruiting goals. Now, if you already have some set, that's great. You're going to review your goals as I go through some numbers now, though. And I'm going to share with you some numbers that will help you to know how to plan for a successful, thriving business. And then at the end of the day, you guys all know that that's what you want, right? Is a successful, thriving business. So let's talk about what strong recruiting looks like as a leader. So we're going to look at how many people you recruit per year. If you are recruiting less than 6 people per year, you're actually going to be going backwards. You're actually going to be trying to go up a down escalator, because less than 6 people per year is going to mean that people are falling out of your payroll faster than you can put them in. Okay. Now, when you focus on recruiting between 7 and 11 per year, you're going to see that some months you're actually going to struggle. Okay. It's not enough numbers to get ahead of the game. You'll be, if you are, doing 7 to 11, you're going to be hitting your numbers most of the time. Okay. And you'll probably be getting paid at your title. But again, you'll probably be really paying attention to those numbers closely. Okay. Now, between 12 and 17, this is a good place to be. This is where you're going to maintain a consistent team. When you're recruiting personally between 12 and 17 per year, you probably will never have to worry about your minimums. And then, of course, 18 to 24, this is where you're going to have strong growth, you guys. This is why I want you to have that 2 recruits per month consistently. Because when you're at this point, you will be promoting leaders and you will be promoting in title. So the first thing that I want you to do right now on your worksheet is I want you to write down a personal recruiting goal for between now and the end of the year. And I want you to think about what your personal recruiting goal is going to be next year as well. Okay. So let's talk about your personal goal. So let's say that you're recruiting 1 person per month. Now, from the example that I show you here, you're going to fall into the range of maintaining a consistent team. Now, let's say that you've got a consultant on your team that has a goal to reach director by December 1st. Okay, so if she's recruiting, September, October, November, December, 1 recruit per month is going to get her here. But she would be smarter, though, to focus on recruiting 2 per month. And here's why. Because when you recruit 10, 5 of those 10 will do absolutely nothing with their business. Okay, so if you've got somebody that's focused on director and you're telling her, hey, all you need is 4 to hit director, you're setting her up for failure, because half of who she recruits is going to do nothing. And you don't want her to just get to director. You want her to be able to maintain it, right? And so given half of who you recruit will do nothing, then that means you probably want to talk to her about having a goal to recruit 8, knowing half of who she recruits will do nothing, because you want her to have 4 people who are working. Does that make sense? Now, let's say that you've got a title change goal for Before Impact 2021. And so that means that in order to promote a leader, okay, if you're recruiting 10, 5 will do nothing. 4 of these 5 will be consistent. 1 of them will become a leader. That means that you need to recruit at least 10 people to promote 1 leader, okay? So you've got to make sure that you focus on that. So whatever your title goal is, like if you need to promote out 2 leaders, that means you've got to have 20 recruits to promote out 2 leaders. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to that. Now, you've all heard before that recruiting is a numbers game, and I believe that that's totally true. So I want to show you another slide. We know that when you offer the 31 business to your host, to your guests, and to your contacts, 1/3 of the people that you offer it to are going to have an interest. 1/3 of those people that have an interest will decide to actually have a sponsoring conversation with you. And 1/3 of the people that have a sponsoring conversation with you will join. Okay, are you tracking that? So let's talk about what happens when you consistently are holding at least 2 parties per week. How many guests will you have? Well, typically we talk about having 10 guests at a party. But let's look at what happened if you had 15 guests at a party, which means you're doing really good insider coaching. With 15 guests attending and ordering, that's 30 guests per week, 2 parties. Okay, now I know a lot of you are holding way more than 2 parties per week, but I just kind of wanted to give you a baseline example. And this is a good example to share with your brand new consultants too. So let's look at this chart at the bottom. If you take 30, that's 30 guests per week, and you divide it by 3, okay, because if you look at the top, 1/3 of the guests are interested, right? Okay, so that means 10 of those, 10 of the 30 are interested in the business. Okay, so that means 10 of those, 10 of the 30 are interested in the business or interested in hearing more, which means 20 people per week are going to say to you, nope, it's not for me. So are you okay with 20 people per week saying, I'm not interested? Yes, because 10 are interested. You're focusing on the 10 that are, the 1/3 that are, not the 20 that aren't. Okay. Okay, so now let's go to the next line. 10 divided by 3 equals 3. That means 3 people that are willing to learn more. 3 people that are willing to have a sponsoring conversation with you, which means 7 people will not respond when you message them. 7 people will ignore you, even though they told you that they had an interest. 7 people will go into the witness protection program. Are you okay with that? Yep, because you've got 3 who are interested, okay? So let's take it a step further. Those 3 who are interested, 1 of them will join your team. That means 2 out of the 3 that took your precious time to meet or chat with you are going to tell you no. Are you okay with that? Yes, because you just got a recruit. How exciting is that? Okay, could you get used to 1 new recruit a week? Okay, that means 30 people you're offering it to. You're going to hear a lot of no's, but you don't care because you're getting 1 new recruit per week. You don't care about the no's. Now, as you get better at this and it becomes a habit, you are going to increase those numbers even more, okay? So now that you're realizing that recruiting is a numbers game, let's talk about what you can do at your parties to hit those numbers, okay? So we're really going to learn how to to dig into these opportunities that you've got to recruit at your parties. So I'm going to be talking with you about a couple of different things right now. First of all, we're going to talk about how to partner with your insider, okay? Because she's the number one person that you're going to recruit. Then we're going to talk about dialing in your introduction at the party. We're going to talk about how your guest experience is going to help or hinder your recruiting. We're going to talk about the law of attraction. You guys are going to love this. And then we're going to talk about how to really do an effective why story. All right. So let's first of all dig into the first thing on the list, which is your insider. Let's focus there. They are the person that you're going to communicate with the most. You're going to communicate with her before, during, and after the party. Now, you've got a choice with what hat you're going to have on your head when you communicate with her. I urge you to put your business owner hat on when you communicate with your insiders. Make her feel special and important because she is. Your insider plays a key role to the success of your party. Your insider is also the most likely person that you're going to recruit. After all, she already loves 31 or she wouldn't be an insider. So through your communication with her, show your appreciation, be sincere, always offer the business to her. Listen to this. Always offer the business to her more than one time. Okay. Now I'm going to put some word choices up on the screen. Get your cell phone ready because you can take some pictures of these, or you can go back and listen to the recording and take some pictures. Okay. So let's talk about the very first contact that you have with your insider. And this is right after she books. Okay. What I would recommend doing is taking the new opportunity flyer, and you're going to find that under marketing materials. Okay. Take the new opportunity flyer and send it to your insider via text message, email, or messenger. Okay. And then you can say something like this. Hey, here's some information regarding our business opportunity with 31. You know, many times our insiders decide to join the team because they see value in the opportunity and they love the products. I found that many are looking for a flexible schedule and a way to work safely from home right now. We are currently looking for both consultants and leaders. So feel free to share this information with anyone you know who may be looking for additional income. I'm going to circle back with you before we get your party started to see what you may be curious about. Okay, so I just threw it out there and I told her I'm going to circle back again. So that was my first offer. And I just set myself up to offer it to her again. Do you see how that happened? Okay, now let's talk about the second offer to her. This is prior to me doing my very first post in her party. Or if I was doing an in-person party, this would be probably right when I arrived to her home or maybe the day before, okay? So I'm gonna say to her, you know what, I invite you to watch what I do during your party and picture yourself doing the same. You know, I'm sure that you're gonna have 2 or more friends who wanna become an insider just like you. And if you're even slightly thinking about joining 31, you could launch your business and earn income by doing their parties instead of me. So what do you think? Okay. Now, I'm not offering her this party as her launch party. This is my party, okay? She's the host, I'm the consultant. But if she wants to get started, she can have the bookings of her friends, okay? Does that make sense? All right, now here's the third contact. This is when I'm closing her party. Okay, so I'm gonna say, Carol, you know what? I enjoyed working with you as an insider, and I can already tell I would enjoy working with you even more as a consultant. Thank you for hosting your party with me. You're going to be receiving X in free products, and you're only paying X for X in total product value. I hope that that makes you happy. As a consultant, I earned X commission. I love my side gig. Now, here's the thing. You've got 3 friends who are excited about their upcoming parties. Now, the big question is this. Is it okay with you if I earn the income from doing those parties, or would you like to join our team as a consultant and earn that income plus much more while you work your new business? Okay, notice I wasn't just giving it to her. I was actually saying, do you want to do their parties and you're going to earn income plus much more while you work your new business. Okay. I'm not just saying, oh, give it a try. Okay. So that's how you can partner with your host. So hopefully that gives you some word choices that you can use. And I know these are words that are coming out of Julie's mouth. You're going to tweak them so that they sound comfortable to you coming out of your mouth. Okay. Now let's talk about some more things that you can do during your party that are going to help you to sponsor. Let's talk about your introduction. So keeping your personal brand in mind, who are you? Are you the confident business owner when you're doing your parties, or are you allowing your self-doubt to show through? What I really, really recommend that you guys do to really connect and show confidence is to do a party introduction with a video, okay? To introduce yourself, because then they're going to get to know you more. It's just short, like maybe 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes at the most. You can go live if you're comfortable going live. And if you're not comfortable, this program's all about stretching and getting uncomfortable, right? You'll get better and better. The other thing that you can do is you can just make a video using your cell phone and just use that same video over and over again, all right? Now, during your introduction, it's going to be brief. Okay, you're going to share your name. Basically, you're just introducing yourself. Tell everybody where you live. Tell them how long you've been with 31. Then share 2 to 3 sentences about how 31 has positively impacted your life. Remember, only 2 to 3 sentences. So I'm just giving you an example. Don't use this. This is just an example, okay? So as a consultant with 31, I really enjoy the income, the product discount, and the fact that I can work this business around my family and my full-time job. The income I earn has helped us pay off $35,000 in debt, and my husband loves that I can treat him to annual incentive trips that I earn. Later, I'm going to share with you what makes me stay with this company. Okay, so I shared my name, where I live, how long I've been with 31, and just those 2 to 3 sentences. Okay. It's not a big deal. It's just really simple, okay? And what you're doing is you're setting yourself up to a little later in the party talk about what makes you stay. So basically they're like, oh, okay, well, nice to meet you. And then they're also thinking, can't wait to hear why she stays, okay? So that's an intro. So that's what you're going to work on as your homework assignment, is creating an intro that you're comfortable with, okay? Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is experience and engagement. Okay, let me get over to my slide. I've kind of lost my mouse here for a second. There we go. Okay, so let's talk about how experience and engagement during your party is going to help you when you're recruiting. First of all, please hear this. You want to make sure that your job looks easy and your job looks fun. Because if I'm watching you as a guest and it doesn't look like either of those 2 things, I'm not in. Remember when I was at the party, when Lynn recruited me, I was watching what she did. She was having a great time. She made what she did look really fun and really easy. And I was like, I can do that. As a matter of fact, I was actually thinking, I can probably do that better than her. Okay. She made it look fun. She made it look effortless. So when you think about it being easy, what is your host seeing you do up until the point of the party start? Okay. Does it look simple? Have you been organized in your contact with her while you've been doing your insider coaching? Did you make putting a virtual party together look simple? She's watching everything you do. And given the fact that this is the number 1 person that you're going to recruit, realize how important it is to make your job look fun and easy. Now, here's something that I think you want you to think about too, is when you post way too many times during the day, it's going to make your job look time consuming. It's going to make it look like you're tied to your computer or phone. Is that what you want your insider to see? Okay. Now let's pretend that we're doing in-person parties, okay? Like when you bring way too many products to the party and your setup is time consuming or difficult, It makes your host think, oh my gosh, I would never want to drag all that stuff around and do that. Okay. So, so let's talk about fun. We just kind of covered easy, but let's talk about fun. You've got to genuinely have fun, because if you're not having fun, your guests aren't going to have fun either. And that's why I love it when consultants go live in their party, because it actually looks like you're having fun, okay? And if your guests aren't having fun, why in the world would they want to invite their friends to a non-fun virtual or in-person party, okay? And you know that one of the ways to create fun is to create engagement, because this helps create a fun learning experience for your guests. Without engagement, your party is just kind of like a lecture or a visual lineup of non-interesting posts that mean nothing to your guests. It's your job to create the engagement. You've got to put the effort in, and you've got to coach your insider to put the effort in as well. And never give up if there isn't engagement. There's always something you can do. Like, you can create a situation where your guests comment on your post, and you guys know all of this. You know, you can go live. You know, a lot of you, if not all of you, have attended the Make It Your Own workshops. So you know all of this that I'm telling you, but it's worth just the little reminder. Now, here's the thing. When you're creating engagement, this is when your rock star party guests are going to emerge, making it easier for you to reach back to them and engage in further conversation that'll eventually lead to you offering the business opportunity. The more you go live, the more likely they will be to engage with you. Remember the whole know, like, trust factor that you hear me talk about over and over again? It's easier to connect with a face, with a voice, and with a personality than it is for them to connect with a post or a comment, okay? That's how you build that know, like, and trust, okay? So that was your little bit about engagement. Now, I'm super excited to talk with you about the law of attraction. And I know you guys have probably heard about the law of attraction before, but basically what it means is, in any given moment, we can choose where to put our focus. We can put it on the unwanted what is, or on what we would prefer. Now, we may not always choose the latter, but we have to choose it more of the time if we want to be deliberate creators of our experience. Basically, what it means is what you put out into the world is what you're going to get back. And I actually think this holds true to the steps that we take when we're sharing the business opportunity with others. So I want you to think about what type of consultant you're looking for to join your team. Okay, here's another way to think about it. If you owned a store, which you all pretty much do, what type of employee would you want to work in your store? Well, if I owned a store, I'd want somebody that shows up for work, somebody that's dedicated, an individual who's a good problem solver. I want somebody that's self-motivated, and perhaps somebody that enjoys working hard and is eager for advancement. Wouldn't you want the same? So take a moment right now to think about the character traits of individuals that you've already recruited. Are they similar to the ones that I just mentioned? They show up, they're dedicated, they're a good problem solver, they're self-motivated, they like to work, they want advancement. Okay, if you haven't done a lot of recruiting yet, this is a good time for you to think about the character types of the team members you want to work with. I think it's pretty easy to say that, taking the law of attraction into consideration, if you were looking for a specific type of person that you wanted to work at your store, then your job description would be written to include those traits so that you could attract those people with those traits to the position. Oh my gosh, right? I'm sure that that makes sense to you. So let's take a moment to think about the words that you may have used while sharing the business opportunity with guests at your parties. This is going to be like an axe in the forehead right now, you guys. Okay. So have you ever heard yourself say something similar to these examples? Oh my gosh, getting started as a consultant is so easy. You can work from home in your pajamas. Or take a look at the kits we have to offer. If you love our products, the kit is the best deal we have. Give it a try. All you need to stay active is $200 every 3 months. Hey girl, when you order your kit, it's not like you're making a huge commitment. Try it. If you don't like it, you can always step away. And the worst thing that'll happen is you'll have all the products to use in your home. Do any of these sound familiar? See, painting the business opportunity in the ways I just mentioned do not help you recruit. As a matter of fact, painting the opportunity this way most likely won't attract the go-getter type of person that you're looking for on your team, because that type of person thinks bigger than what you're describing here. Okay, so let's go back through these words to see how they could be potentially translated by your potential recruits. So getting started as a consultant is so easy. You can work from your pajamas at home. The guest at your party might be thinking this: oh, this is going to be super easy to do, and I'm not going to have to put a ton of effort into it. Do you have people on your team not putting a ton of effort into it? Or she might be thinking, listen, nothing worthwhile is easy to do. I don't trust what this girl is telling me. You might have just broken down your credibility with your customers. Now, when you say, oh, take a look at the kits we have to offer. If you love our products, this is the best deal we have. She might be thinking, excellent, I love a good deal. I can't believe this company is offering a way that I can get all these products so cheap. On top of that, I'll get the consultant discount for other things I want to buy. Hot diggity dog. Have you ever recruited somebody who never returns your phone calls after they sign up? Give it a try. All you have to do to stay active is $200 every 3 months. She might be thinking, really? That's it? Wow. I can just go on Facebook once every 3 months and run a product sale, and I'll be able to stay active. Okay. What does this do to the party plan business model of 31? Okay, what about the last example? She might be thinking, all right, I'll try this silly thing. At least I'll get this person off my back for a while. Do you really want a team of consultants who are starting their business with the mentality that they'll just give it a try, then quit? No, you don't, right? So I know that you've had an aha moment. I can see because the chat is totally blowing up. Can you see from these examples that you have to be careful about what you say when you're talking about the business opportunity? Okay. So here's a fun fact about Julie. I love to fish. And one thing I've learned about fishing is that you've got to have the right bait or the right hook if you want to catch the right fish. Sometimes you can cast and drop into a school of fish, and some of those fish are going to scatter. But one or two will typically come back to take a sneak peek at your bait. Now, here's the thing I know. Certain fish like certain bait. So let's take a look at how this relates to sharing the business opportunity. Some consultants join the business for a hobby, and those are steady eddies. I love these consultants, and they can be really fun fish to catch, the hobbyists, okay? Other consultants join, and you have no idea why they did, because they never do anything with the business. And those are those teeny tiny little fish that you catch. And then at times, you're going to recruit that amazing self-starter, go-getter, hard worker, superstar that tears this business up. And those are the big fish. And I like to refer to them as sharks. Now, when I go fishing, I'm going to take any fish that'll nibble on my bait, and I think you should do the same thing when you're recruiting. The more fish you can put in your boat, the better. But wouldn't it be nice, though, if when you were fishing, the percentage of sharks you were catching would far outweigh those tiny fish? It's time to pay attention to the bait you've got on the end of your hook. The examples I showed you earlier, those are guppy bait. Now I want to talk to you about shark bait, okay? Remember at the beginning of this training when we were talking about communicating with our host? Let's look at how we used shark bait during that first host coaching contact, okay? I specifically said, We're looking for both consultants and leaders. That's shark bait. I didn't say, hey, give it a try. If you don't like it, you can quit. Okay, you get the idea there? Okay, let's talk about this a little bit more. And in order to do so, I want to move to the next phase of the show, which is your big moment. And that's when you share your why story. This is where you're really going to put that shark bait on the end of your hook. Okay, your why story is the part of your party that really counts. And for those of you that attended the director and senior director webinar last Thursday, you heard me talk about this a little bit there, but I'm going to talk about it again. Okay, so I want you to look at this like it's your Super Bowl commercial. Remember, your job at the party is to pique curiosity about the business. You're not just doing a casual mention, and you're not trying to talk people into the business. Simply pique curiosity, but do it in a sincere way where your passion for the business and your heart shows through. Do it in a way that you can cast vision for something that's possible that maybe people at your parties would have never even considered until you talked about it. You want to help them imagine what this business could do for them. That's piquing curiosity. You, in this opportunity, could be the thing that changes somebody's life for the better. Now, you don't want to do it during your why story. You don't want to dump a lot of information on them, because when you do, you're going to risk talking into the business and out of the business at the same time. So again, you can do a post of the opportunity flyer. You can message it to people, and the opportunity flyer you're going to find under marketing, sponsoring tools, and it's called the opportunity flyer. Okay. But again, I really would encourage you to step out of your comfort zone and go live while you do this. And if that's too much for you, record a video that you use repeatedly. If going live or creating a video isn't an option you'd like to explore, then create a post that allows you to use shark bait in a similar way that I'm going to demonstrate for you right now. So here could be an example of how your why story would be. Hey guys, you know what? Earlier, when I introduced myself, I shared with you why I joined 31. And now I just want to take a couple of minutes to share with you why I stay. You guys, I don't know what your life is like. I don't know if you cried today after you dropped your children off to daycare this morning because you're sad to miss that time with them. And I don't know if you're buried in student loans, or maybe you and your spouse have some really big financial goals. Maybe you've got tension in your home because you and your spouse are frequently having disagreements over your debt. Or you could be somebody that has always wondered what it would be like to own your own business. Okay, again, I don't know what your life is like. But here's one thing I do know. 31 has changed so many lives, and mine has been changing since I joined the company as well. Now, you might be sitting here thinking, Julie, I would never do what you're doing. And that's okay. But maybe you know of somebody who fits what I just described, and you might be able to share what you're learning about the business opportunity with them. Right now, we are looking for both consultants and leaders with our company. If you're somebody that's looking for extra income, you love our products, and flexibility is important to you, our consultant opportunity might be perfect for you. If you're the type of person that's fulfilled by helping others, maybe you consider yourself motivated, you're a self-starter, you're a hard worker who loves to set and reach goals, or maybe you're sitting there and you've got really big financial dreams. Our leadership opportunity is a way that you can get off to a start on the path to those goals. Now, I've posted some information, but I know that it's not going to answer your questions. If I've piqued your curiosity, or you can think of somebody this opportunity might be great for, message me and I'm going to help you get those questions answered. And I want you to know this too, you guys. I believe in really great customer service, and I plan to reach out to every single one of you over the next couple of days to answer your questions and to connect. Now, I'm really happy that I made the decision to explore the business opportunity with 31, and I'm happy to share the same opportunity with you or somebody that you know. Okay, so here's the thing. During that why story, you'll notice that this is what I did. I didn't really talk about myself and all the reasons why I stay, okay? Instead, I actually described a number of different reasons why my customers might be interested in the business. I talked about daycare, student loans, financial goals, tension in the house because of debt. or if you've always wondered what it's like to run your own business. I mean, there's a number of other different things you could fill in here, okay? I talked about that because I believe there's at least one person at every party you do who's considering doing what you're doing. Now, when you mention a number of different reasons for getting started, you're more likely to connect with her. I made sure I had shark bait on the end of my hook by referring to consultants and leaders. And did you see how I was talking about if you're a self-starter, if you're a go-getter, okay, if you are that person at the party, you're going to be going, hey, that's me. Maybe I can do this. Hey, yeah, I'm driven. She's talking to me. That's who you want to attract. You've got to talk to the driven person, or you're never going to catch her on the end of your hook, okay? Now, I also set myself up for getting referrals by mentioning, I know the business might not be for you, but you might know of somebody who's interested. I'm basically brainwashing them there. I'm planting that seed in their head. And then I set myself up for success by inviting them to message me if they've got questions. And I told them I believe in great customer service and I'm going to follow up with you. Now I've got to follow up with her. Okay. And the best part is I'm comfortable doing it because I already told her I was going to do it. Okay. So does that feel like something you'd be able to do at your parties? All right. Now let's talk about follow-up. And again, this is something that I talked about on the webinar just a few days ago on the 1st, but it's worth mentioning again. There's a couple of different ways you can follow up. The first way is follow up with every single guest from every single party with a simple message the same day you post your why story video, okay? Remember, and you already posted, and like you're gonna send them a message that's got the opportunity flyer, okay? Even though you already posted in the party, send it to her personally. And then remember, you already told them you were going to follow up with them, so it already opened the door for you. And then you can just message them after you send a picture of the flyer and say, hey, I just want to thank you for attending Sue's party. I promised I'd follow up, so that's why I'm reaching out. When I was sharing with you what I love about being a consultant with 31 and some of the reasons other women join our company, what piqued your curiosity? What made you interested? Or what piqued your interest? What made you curious? Okay, I didn't say, would you be interested? Because she can answer yes or no to that. I'm just asking her what made you curious. And a lot of times she'll respond with something that made her curious. Now let's say that while you did your why story video, you had a guest that actually expressed an interest and maybe they asked you a couple of questions through Messenger. Then you can respond to them and say, hey, you sound like you're a bit curious. I'd like to help you get your questions answered and provide you with some information that is going to help you to learn more about our business. Do you have 15 minutes tomorrow? We can have just a brief chat to find out if 31 is a good fit for you. See, she's not going to feel pressured with that word choice. Okay? We can have a brief chat to find out if 31 is a good fit for you. Okay? It's very comfortable. Now, you want to make sure that you schedule a 15-minute conversation with them to be held immediately within the next 24 to 40 hours. But in the meantime, you guys, make sure you schedule a party with her. You can say, I often find that individuals who are even slightly considering the business opportunity like to schedule a party right away so they can see what it's like to be a host. And it also gives them a bird's eye view of the role of a consultant. I've got 2 dates available in the next week. Which one would work better for your schedule? Having a party dated is a good move because worst case scenario is if they decide not to join, you've got them as a host. And the conversation is now set up. Your potential new consultant is curious to find out more information. And then the morning of the conversation, you're going to send a text and say, hey, I'm looking forward to talking to you today at noon. Text yes to confirm. Okay. So now you've got the appointment set. And now you might be wondering, okay, what information do I cover during the appointment? Well, I went into detail with that in the Senior Director webinar. You're also going to find a one sheet. As a matter of fact, I've got to find out where that is. I'll let you guys know. There's a one sheet posted on TOT, or it might be posted in the Senior Director Facebook group. I'm sorry, you guys, I don't recall. So that actually takes you through the sponsoring conversation. But here's the thing. Next Wednesday, when I do the Wednesday Wisdom, I am going to talk specifically in that Wednesday Wisdom in even more detail how to have that sponsoring conversation with them. Okay, and that's going to pull this entire training together. Okay, so today's training gave you several things that can immediately put into practice at your shows. And we covered some of the different opportunities that you have to recruit at your parties. We talked about the valuable gift that you have to share in your sponsoring mindset. We talked about the fact that there's people at every single party that you hold that are looking for what you have to offer. Okay. We talked about recruiting goals and the numbers of it. And then we went into how to recruit at your parties, your party intro, how to create engagement and experience, the law of attraction using shark bait. We talked about your why story and follow-up, and then how to set up the sponsoring conversation appointment. Now, if you remember, learning new things is not going to improve your business. It's when you immediately put what you've learned into practice that you're going to see your results. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, your homework, we talked about this earlier. Complete your worksheet, take a picture of it, post it in the comments below. Now, here's the thing, you guys. You can type into this worksheet, and it might make your worksheet stretch into 2 or 3 pages, whatever. You don't have to be so meticulous. Oh my gosh, it's 4 pages long. I want to make sure they get a picture of all 4 pages. We just want to know that you've done the work. The worksheet is more so for you than it is for us. So don't worry about how many pages long it is, okay? It's for you to do that work and figure out all of these different things on it, okay? So here's some announcements. Please remember, you guys set a timer on your phone right now. You've got to report your attendance for this webinar, and you're going to do that this Friday, okay? This Friday, which is what? The 9th, okay? So make sure that you use the attendance link. Now, the next thing is next Wednesday, the Wednesday Wisdom, we're going to focus in again on the sponsoring conversation. You can see how important that this is. And then also next Wednesday, I'm going to offer another Zoom hour, okay? So from 1 to 2 p.m. next Wednesday, I'm going to have an Accelerate Office Zoom number. It's the same Zoom room you guys used before. I've got the number up here on the screen. And your homework assignment is going to be due on the 18th, and you're going to post a picture of it and put it under Mark's homework due post. Our next mentoring call is the 19th, and then I'm going to do some Zoom office hour again on the 26th. So take a picture of this screen so that you've got all of these important dates. Okay, I've got a closing quote for you, and it says, "You have to know who you are to grow your potential, but you have to grow in order to know who you are." Okay. So Mark, I saw you pop your camera on. I'd love to see your face so that you can say hi to everyone today.
Hey, everybody. And Julie, I'll just share with you that I was posting in the chat throughout the call, but it all went to you. So me and you were having a conversation you just didn't know.
You were doing it to the panelists versus panelists and all attendees. Oh my gosh, I've done that before. So
yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
So Mark,
you're going to have a lot, but for everybody on the call, so many minds blown, and so many people about that. So.
Well, I'm glad, so glad, Mark, that you're here with me with this group, and you guys, we're just having so much fun working with you, and we're just blown away by everything that you're accomplishing. So great job on everything. I also want to let you know that we're going to be posting some recognition based on what you did in September to the Facebook group. I'm just waiting for our numbers guys at the home office to give me everything. We're waiting for the month to close completely. And we're going to have some recognition for you probably toward the end of this week. So it's going to be fun to see. It's kind of cool because I know your uplines, post recognition for you where you guys fall within your organizations, but it's going to be fun for you to see where you fall within this group. So that's kind of cool. So we'll have that coming to you, like I said, probably toward the end of this week. So you guys have a fantastic day, and thanks again for all you do. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.